Welcome back, everyone, to the Thanksgiving Tournament Expert Division opening round, hole number 14. Here we're going to be playing a Kingmaker Sniper bounce up shot for the shot at Albatross. This is a tough drop given the wind angle that we have here with the trees and the inconsistencies on the drive. Uh, it's just not the most consistent of approaches yet. So I'm going to give you what I have, and then I'll work on this particular shot some more or looking for something else once I start playing through my other rounds. If I find anything better than this, I will post it. But this should give you a good start. It's a good drive, and it'll give you a good chance at the drop for the albatross. You'll just have to play around with your offsets that work for your pull angle and the varying degrees of wind angles that we're seeing here. So on the approach shot, you see anything from almost a straight tail to a 45-degree crossing tailwind. So it makes dialing in the approach a tad bit more difficult. But if you put a little bit of time and effort into it and some practice tokens, you do stand a good chance to walk away from this one with the albatross. So this one is after a bit of tweaking the shot and looking for some different ways to get at the hole and come in at the correct speed. So what I think I have here, the only thing I believe that I did wrong on this approach shot is going to be I had it offset too far to the left. So when I get there, I'll show you what I would change and tell you why I would change it. So we're doing a P3 no move target here, APOC 5 plus, Sniper 9 plus. Uh, P3, again, no move target. I'm adjusting P3 minus 30% max. And then I'm going to push to max. But what the reason I wanted to stop and take this picture here is because there is a wind angle in the drive that we need to pay attention to, and it just so happens to be uh, I'm in that wind angle here. So what we're looking at is this palm tree right here, right in front of us. It's the last palm tree on the end of the little island over here. When you go to adjust, this palm tree is either going to be to the right of your center line or to the left of your center line, right? So if your center line is over here to the right of the tree, then you have the crosswind angle. You don't need to worry about anything. Everything should be good as is. So the standard spin set for this approach or this drive is 1 backspin and 3 left spin. All of my testing was done with a Kingmaker here. So anything in the crosswind angle. So when you go to adjust, if you're pulling and you're ended up to the right side of that palm tree, then you're good. You don't need to worry about anything else. If you go to adjust and you are over here on the left hand side of this palm tree like I am now, anything to the left is the tailwind angle. And what I'm doing, it's a minor tweak, but it will definitely help control your drive a bit more and give you more consistency and more consistent looks at the approach. So if we can keep the drive in relatively the same area, it'll be a lot easier to dial in that approach shot. So in the tailwind angle, I'm just adding a little bit of backspin per wind strength. If your wind is 7 to 7.6, instead of playing 1 backspin, 3 left, play 1.1 backspin and 3 left spin. If your wind is 7.7 to 8.4, play 1.2 backspin, 3 left spin. And if your wind is 8.5 to 9.1, then play 1.3 backspin and 3 left spin. The reason is with the more tailwind, we're obviously getting more wind push forward, right? But beyond that, we're also not adjusting as far to the right. So we're not getting pushed to the left as much. And so by adding the backspin, it bites a little bit harder when it lands on the first bounce, and that kicks it a little bit further to the left, which is what we want, right? We want to try and hug that left rough fairway line while staying safe. So by adding a little bit of backspin per wind strength in the tailwind angle, that allows you to keep your curl and everything else the same, and it keeps your drive a bit more consistent. So keep that in mind. Anything left of the tree, add 0.1 backspin for the low winds, 0.2 for the medium, and 0.3 for the high winds. That's on top of the already one backspin. Beyond that, like I said, P3 minus 30% max numbers. We're going to push all the way up to max. And then we're going to use left curl. And this is important as well. Don't get greedy with your curl here. There is a palm tree over to the right here. And if you add much more curl than I'm currently using, you will risk clipping that tree and having a tough time getting an eagle here. So don't get overzealous with the curl. The amount of curl I'm using here is basically max curl. So I'm just looking at the triangle, and if you was to split it directly in half, I want to be right around the very middle of that triangle, right? So if you're looking at the top portion of it, then you're just off of the tip, about 3/4 of the way up. If you're looking at the the bottom of it, it's almost exactly half. So this is what I look at here. The distance between here and here. I want to split that in the middle, and that just makes it easier for me because this is basically the same distance as this is over here. So it just works better for the eyes, right? Beyond that, it's a full overpower shot. So if a full overpower shot is not your thing, you don't like it, you're not good at it, you're always hitting greats or whatever, you can switch to a P4 or P5 ball after you push. You will want to adjust, and then you will want to push back up to P3 max, and then you'll want to switch to your P4 or P5 ball. Just make sure that when you switch, that you're switching to the same level wind resistance. Don't adjust for a wind 3 ball and then turn around and equip a wind 4 ball. It is not going to work out well for you. If you don't have the same wind resistance in a P3 that you want to switch to, say you want to play a P5 wind 4 ball, and all you have is the Kingmaker, then start with your Kingmaker, quickly switch to your wind 4 ball, then switch back to your Kingmaker. Do everything you need to do with your Kingmaker, adjust the wind 4 numbers, and then after you push back to max, switch back to your wind 4 ball. I know it sounds like a lot, but it isn't. It doesn't take, if you've got the 2 balls pinned, they'll be right there at the top. They're very easy to swap over, and that's one way to work around, um, not having the exact wind resistance in both powers of the ball. For the approach shot, I'm playing this P3 plus 15% at slider. I'm counting rings from min. I'm always using 1 backspin, 2 right spin. After I add my spins, I'm going to count rings from min until the tip of my ball guide is even with the front of the hole. And I want to have it offset left of the hole, depending on wind strength and wind angle. So I am basically setting up here for the crosswind offset, which requires a little more offset because we're pulling it less down and more to the right. So it needs a little bit more offset left when you have the more crosswind. When you have the tailwind such as I had here, you're going to want to, you know, keep your tip of your ball guide closer to the hole. So basically what I have is for the standard kind of neutral in the middle wind angle, the basic offsets per wind strength are 7 to 7.6. I would offset 3/4 of a square left if your wind is 7.7 to 8.4, a half a square left, and 8.5 to 9.1 offset 1/4 of a square left, and that's kind of for the middle angle. If you notice you got a hard tailwind angle, then you'll need to shift it right just a touch or add a little bit of right curl. If you have a hard crosswind angle, you'll most likely, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but you'll most likely need to shift it left a little bit because of the way the hole plays and what we're adjusting. If you get more crosswind and you don't shift it left, you're going to end up missing it right by, a fair margin. The only other thing to note on this shot is under power. I'm using either circle break or just before circle break. So if my winds are 8.1 or lower, I'm playing just before circle break under power. If my winds are 8.2 or higher, I'm playing circle break under power. It is a tough Albie. Easy eagle with a good chance at it if you spend a little bit of time, a couple of tokens. You could very well walk away from hole 14 with the albatross, playing free to play with a kingmaker. It's just going to take a little bit of patience and a little bit of work on the approach shot. So good luck. Before I let you go, sniper rings pushed from men. 1 is 3, 2 rings is 5%, 3 is 8, 4 is 11, 5 is 13, 6 is 16, 7 is 18, 8 is 21, 9 is 24, 10 rings from men is 27 slider, 11 is 29, 12 is 32, 13 is 35, 14 is 38, 15 is 41, 16 43, 17 46, 18 49, 19 is 51, 20 is 54, 21 is 57, and 22 rings from men is 58% slider. So that ought to be all you need. Good luck. I hope you get the drop, and we'll catch you on the next one.